Welcome to Eat Sleep Nerd, a podcast where you can check out, go AFK, and relax with us as we discuss all things nerd. Comic books, video games, movies, TV shows, and anything else that gets geeks more worked up than an accountant at Warner Brothers.
What's up, and welcome to episode number 62. I am your dorky DJ, Corey Winter, and in this episode, we're just diving through this past week's nerdy news. As always, I am joined by my nerdy brother, Josh Winter, and our geeky friend, Christian James. I almost said Jason Summer, but he's not here. He left us.
He bailed.
He left us.
He had to go back home to Blork Block on Mars.
You could have said any state, but you went
No,
Mars.
that's farther away.
Mars. All right. Yes, so if you have not noticed, we actually just posted our The Flash post-mortem video yesterday as of this video. And Jason was there, and we were all wearing these same things. But now all of a sudden, Jason is gone. He is missing in action. He had to go back home, whatever.
He had to Venmoosen.
So yeah, Jason's not going to be in this episode, but we're still going to have a nerdy good time. We got lots to talk about. How you guys doing?
Are you going to talk nerdy to us?
I'm going to talk. I hope you talk nerdy to me. I don't want any. How you guys doing?
You know.
Are you guys both wearing black on purpose?
No.
Against the black wall?
Just keep doing that.
I was going to say, believe it or not, we've never once coordinated what we were going to wear, other than the Star Trek episodes. We just have the same vibe at the same time.
Black is slimming.
Black is.
It is slimming.
Against a black wall.
Yes.
Can't even see you. So
That's
slimming.
how
can't
slimming
even see you. Oh, goodness. We're going to try to keep this episode short because we've just been doing a big old recording storm lately. We got lots of stuff going on. We just have that Flash postmortem that we just posted on our YouTube channel. We've had our weekly Strange New Worlds videos. We've had our Secret Invasion videos. Woo. We got lots going on. We got even more coming to you.
Lots of stuff.
And we're back in action with our weekly podcast. So let's just get right to it. What have you guys been geeking out on this week?
Well, started a new job.
Yeah.
So
Can
pretty
we say
much
what it is? No. It's a pretty
I am the
geeky
new
job.
Sony VPL.
Ooh.
So I can tell you stuff about Sony products.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
Sponsor me.
Sponsor me. I want swag.
Lots of swag. Even pins and coffee mugs and stuff.
Sony does decent swag. You'll probably have some swag pretty soon.
I like swag.
Yeah. Swag.
Yeah, I've just been sitting in front of a computer all week and
Learning stuff.
Yeah, no, those e-learnings right at the beginning are awful. My position, I have to take literally every single one that they publish. So that sucks. So I feel your pain. I have to do that like once a month. Is I have to just take a day and just go through all of them.
Yeah, that doesn't sound fun at all.
No, it's not. It's not. Ooh, okay. So we're recording on Saturday, the 24th, 26th, 24th. 24th? I have no idea what day it is. 24th. So we're recording on Saturday. As of this morning, the 10th edition of Warhammer 40K launched.
What does that mean?
So every couple of years, they do a big update on Warhammer 40K, like the actual tabletop game.
Game,
like
yeah,
the original IP, like the original thing. And sometimes it's a big deal, sometimes it's not. But every single time they have used that addition to adjust rules, change things that don't make sense. This time they actually did a lot of work to get rid of redundant rules, excessive rules, and things that just don't make sense. So they've actually made the game a lot easier to play, especially if you've never played before, ever. Because there are a lot of people who've tried playing a game before, get overwhelmed, and they're just like, I don't think it's for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, me with chess.
Yeah, and
Me with most things.
And obviously, if your product is to sell the game, that's not a great position to be in. And so, word on the street is they've actually struck a pretty decent balance between honoring this big, complex game that people love, but also making it more accessible.
Nice.
And so, like I said, sometimes that's all they change is just rules. But the last few editions, they've also, ever since the advent of 3D printing and modeling and computer-aided models and stuff like that, they've always taken the opportunity to release new models as well. And they released what they're calling the Leviathan box, And I kept telling myself I wasn't going to get it, but I got it. I went out this morning at 10 in the morning and got it.
Nice. Proud of you.
But it gives you, essentially 2 armies to start with. It's literally everything you would need to play in one box.
Wow.
So it gives you the figures, the measuring equipment, mission cards, and the new rulebook that gives you at least enough information to get started. And in a neat twist, this edition, they have made a lot of the supplemental pieces, like each army has its own codex and quick reference cards and stuff like that. The codexes are still charged, but most of the other supplemental material is actually free now. You just, if you have the pieces, you just download the card that you need. You can save it on your phone. You can save it on, they have an app now that you use to game with. Like, it's cool. So it's going to be very different, and we're going to have a game at some point.
Oh, are you telling us we're going to have a game?
Yes, we're going to have a game. I bought all the things. We just have to play it.
All right. Yeah, that's actually kind of a cool thing. With this studio, we actually made this table convertible into a tabletop for something like that. So we could use this studio as a tabletop studio and record it and share it with
the idea.
Yeah. So that sounds fun. That sounds fun.
I'm going to teach y'all how to play Warhammer.
Woo.
I can teach y'all how to play spades.
And after that, we'll be doing spoons.
Okay.
Anyone else remember spoons?
Yes.
Such a violent game.
It's such a violent game.
So this week,
What have you been doing, Corey?
you know what? I actually did start replaying Red Dead Redemption 2 because I kept telling myself I wanted to be a cowboy after watching all of Yellowstone. So I started doing that. Doesn't quite scratch the itch.
It's a different kind of cowboy.
Yeah, it is. It is. But I get to ride a horse and, do cowboy stuff.
And yeehaw.
But I also just randomly started playing LSPDFR, which is the Los Santos Police Department First Responder mod for Grand Theft Auto 5. It's a PC mod, and it's essentially a fan-made mod. It's actually huge. It's been downloaded millions of times, where they turned Grand Theft Auto 5 into a police simulator. And so you can actually choose to be, you join as an officer in any one of these departments in the game. So you can be one of the Los Santos police officers. You can go be a sheriff officer. You can go actually work for the Coast Guard or it's
pretty cool.
All that cool stuff. You can actually just patrol the streets. So you can actually just patrol and pull people over and give them a ticket. You can get involved in police pursuits. You can get called to call outs. So you can actually go respond to 911 calls and things. And you can actually add on mods to this mod. So I actually added on some mods to where I can have a partner join me. I can have a canine partner, so I can have a dog. You can customize the vehicles. So if you want some real life police vehicles in the game, you can do that. So I've been doing that. Been having a fun time. And I've been doing this for years, but every once in a while I'll jump back on the train and
I've seen a lot of Facebook Live people do that.
I was going to say, I see it on TikTok.
Yeah, there's a bunch of
Frequently.
different worlds that people created, mainly just calling it Los Santos, Chicago.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is Chicago. I'm okay, cool. It's fine. Yeah. But yeah, I've always wanted to do that because that seems fun.
I love doing it. I'll play it for a week straight. And then I'll get frustrated because it's still very much a fan-made mod, and so it will crash.
Oh yeah.
And if you start adding on the additional mods that other people have made that didn't make the main mod, then they will conflict, and there will be key things that trigger multiple things that shouldn't be triggered, and so it does get frustrating. I just and I just rage quit. But yeah, I've been doing that. Also, I've been watching some stuff. I started watching. I keep forgetting the name of it. Telltale's coming out with a game for it next month. The sci-fi show.
Not Abyss. Oh shoot. Expanse. Nailed it.
Yes, I've been watching that because the game looks cool, but I've never seen the show, so I wanted to watch the show before playing the game.
Expanse is neat.
And it's pretty fun.
Yeah, Expanse is okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't heartbroken when they said, we're good. But, which is kind of how they canceled it. We're good.
Yeah.
But it was good. I liked it. I'll play the game when it comes out.
I mean, it's Telltale. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, let's get into some programming notes before we dive into the meat of the show. I've said it time and time again, but I'm going to keep reminding you, we are doing weekly reaction recap videos for every single episode of Strange New Worlds. Did I say that right? Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 2. We've already done our first 2 episodes, and these new episodes air on Thursdays. We post our reaction video on Fridays, the following Friday. We're doing the same thing for Marvel's Secret Invasion, so we just dropped our first episode reaction video to that last week. Go find that on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@eatsleepnerd. We also just posted our The Flash post-mortem video, where we talked about our review, but we also dove into some...
What went wrong?
What went wrong? What was the phrase your catch line?
The Flash.
It's the finger.
Was it the bomb or was it a bomb?
Yes, that's the catchphrase. All right.
Spoiler, there was a bomb.
Hey, no, we disagree with that.
It was factually a bomb.
Fastly coming bomb.
We had a pretty big debate, and it was about an hour long, and it gets pretty heated at times. Jason was here for that.
Yeah.
Let's just say there were some disagreements.
That's not why he left.
No. He got so mad. He
has a 9-hour drive in. That's not why he left.
But yes, there's lots of stuff that we have just posted that we think you should go watch. We have a bunch of stuff coming up that we have not even told you about. Just a bunch of stuff that we're excited about. And then we also want you to subscribe to this channel. It's so important that you push that button. Help us out.
Ring that bell, baby.
Ring the bell. Click that subscribe button. Leave some comments, which takes me to my next point. We weren't sure if we're going to address this, but we're going to be as vague as possible without hurting
Corey has
someone's
decided
feelings.
to address it.
I've decided to address this. So, we don't pretend to be experts here on this show. Quite the contrary, we do this just for fun. We don't get paid to do any of this. We are just 4 nerds, obviously 3 of us today, but obviously Jason as well. 4 of us that come together just to nerd out on stuff that we've been geeking out on. We come together to share that love with all of you in hopes that you can find this as a happy place to nerd out on things. If we get stuff wrong, let us know in the comments as nice as possible. We will respond and address that incorrection as soon as possible, like we like to do every single episode. If we notice that we did something wrong, we'll make sure to address it.
We even have a segment for it.
Yeah. We are totally open to the criticism. We invite you to leave comments whenever we notice, or whenever you notice that we do something wrong. We love to learn, and we like to grow from our mistakes. So, got something to say, just let us know nicely. It's all good. It's all good. We're all nerds here. We're all here to have a good time. So with that in mind, let's go geek out on some other stuff. Would you guys like to get into the nerdy news?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, changing it up.
All right. All right. In this week's episode, we don't have anything groundbreaking, but there is some stuff I want to discuss with you all. So, the first one, and we're just going to go random. We're just going to hop around. So, the first one is Across the Spider-Verse. So, this movie just came out a few weeks ago in theaters. We reviewed it here on this show, or on this channel, really, and we loved it. It's fantastic. But apparently it had a pretty troubled production behind the scenes. In a new report from Vulture, 4 animators who left the project described particularly difficult working conditions on the project, with numerous revisions, as well as 11-hour days, 7 days a week working conditions. These issues, it's claimed, stem from writer-producer Phil Lord's management style, and through Sony. This is a lot of commas, good lord. Lots of people involved in this. But anyway, so all of this to say, it was a very troubled production, and it's leading us into some reports that Beyond the Spider-Verse has actually been delayed beyond its March 2024 release, and sources are saying it's likely, possibly not even coming out until 2026.
Good lord.
So Beyond the Spider-Verse was originally scheduled and currently still scheduled for March 2024. But they're saying it's so far behind in production, and with the production difficulties of Across the Spider-Verse, they're not confident it will be out within the next 2 years.
I mean, well, coming from the first movie, it's like they definitely ramped up their animation styles and what they wanted to do. So I mean, I wouldn't be terribly upset for a delay, but like 2026?
Yeah. When it's still currently scheduled for 2024. Early
Yikes.
2024.
Yikes.
Some animators from across the Spider-Verse say working on the film was, I quote, death by 1,000 paper cuts, unquote. They also said the unsustainable working conditions, demands to redo finished work 5 times, plus potential 11-hour days for 7-day working weeks, caused 100 artists to leave the film during production. Oof. This sounds like Disney level of...
I was going to say, it sounds like the new norm. These are not new, I don't want to say complaints, concerns.
Yeah.
That we've heard before. The special effects industry is insanely overworked now, and most of the companies are basically saying that there's nothing they can do about it, because as soon as you say you don't want to do it or that it's unreasonable, your studio just doesn't get hired again.
Yeah.
And so like their back is sort of to the wall. And so I get it. And when you think about it, an animation movie, especially an animation movie like this, is essentially just a 2-hour special effect.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, these are the same folks who are making all the Marvel movies and saying that, well, essentially the exact same thing. They keep telling us to redo scenes because they're changing the story on the fly. They constantly want to make sure that everything ties into everything. I mean, that's a long list of demands. And some of these studios only have a couple dozen people working for them.
Yeah.
So I get it, but at the same time, I don't know. Until studios are ready to say that the working conditions are more important than quick profit, I don't think that's going to change.
Yeah, and that comes down to like them realizing they need them more than the company needs, or the workers need the company. Because it's like we gotten so used to just pushing movies out left and right. Like this summer, there's, what is it, like 10 or 12 movies coming out?
Yeah.
I mean, just the big budget ones. Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Why?
Well, and that was the other thing. Like, I think it was Matt Damon did an interview where he talked about that. Like,
On Hot Ones?
yeah, like you used to have a couple of blockbusters every year, and then everything else was kind of just movies that people wanted to make, and you could go see the smaller fare and stuff like that. Now everything has to be a blockbuster or it doesn't get made, which means now every year you're getting 12 blockbusters, and we're wondering why they're not always very good. Like it's kind of a crap situation, and so I don't know what we're gonna do about that, other than like Ben Affleck and Matt Damon's little experiment that they're running.
Yeah, they started their own studio, right?
Right, where the people who make the movies are part owners of the movie. So if the movie does well, they literally make more money.
Yeah.
They get the same kind of deals that the actors get.
Yeah.
Smaller scale. But the idea is, I mean, yeah, like if you want the movie to do well, you can put in more work, and if it works out well, you get a lot more money too.
Yeah.
So, and hopefully that also helps some movies like Air.
Yeah.
That normally wouldn't get made. Like if Ben Affleck and Matt Damon hadn't said they wanted to make Air would not have been made.
Yeah.
It was because they wanted to make it that it got made. So maybe this is a structure that can take over. And I would like that, because quote unquote little movies like that, those are good. Those are good movies. That one, and it reminded me of Ford versus Ferrari.
Yeah.
Oh, excellent movie.
Yes.
But neither one of those are blockbusters though, you know? But they're insanely good movies, and I would argue some of the best movies that came out in their respective years.
Yeah.
So hopefully this can be the beginning of a change, which would also give the SFX guys a little bit of a break.
Yeah.
And that comes back around to our writer friends. Like, if the VFX people go, they got some major, things to talk about.
Well, that's one of the only industries in that industry that isn't unionized yet.
I was going to say, it's weird that they haven't,
Well, I think they're going to. Yeah. I think it's getting to a boiling point.
Yeah,
because this is the same kind of story that keeps happening.
Yeah.
So it's only a matter of time. And, I mean, yeah, I think that would be in their best interest at this point.
Yeah.
So they're getting treated like 1099 employees. And it's just, if you don't like it, quit. Well, okay, but that's my career. What else? What else am I gonna do?
Yeah, what am I gonna do?
Yeah. So no, that sucks. I feel bad for them. I hope it gets better. But I remember when I was a kid, you had 4 or 5 years between every James Bond movie. You know, like we've gotten to the whip. Marvel has ruined, for better or worse, the sequel release schedule expectation.
Mm-hmm.
Studios think they have to have sequels every year, or it's a wasted year. Even Barbara Broccoli over at Eon talked about this with James Bond. Maybe we don't need to have one come out every 2 years. Well, no crap.
Yeah.
So, like, yes, it sucks that Spider-Man might get pushed, but, like, it was kind of wild that it was going to come out less than a year later anyway.
Yeah. Especially when the first one came out, I think back in 2018.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's a reasonable expectation. 2018 to 2023. That's 5 years. That is enough time to make a sequel. And also to give us enough time to get excited about it again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I still haven't even seen this one yet.
Yeah.
I have not seen Across the Spider-Verse yet. But the sequel's coming out, quote unquote, in less than a year.
Yeah. The delay is not actually official yet, but sources are saying it's just a matter of time before it gets announced. So
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm cool with movies going back to having a delay.
Yeah, like imagine if we would have kept that same formula when Marvel got off the ground. Like we'd probably be seeing Endgame now.
Yeah. 100%.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah. And the only reason that system works for Marvel is because Marvel's the umbrella. Each movie is part of its own franchise.
Yeah.
There was still 2 or 3 years between each Captain America movie. There was still 2 or 3 years between each Iron Man movie. There was, you know what I'm saying? Thor's the only one that's had a quote unquote regular release schedule. And the movie started getting crappier. So it's okay to breathe between movies, Hollywood. That's what TV is for.
All right, let's jump over into some video game stuff.
Video games.
So,
Video games.
there has been a big old court battle over in Microsoft land because they have been trying to acquire Activision Blizzard for, it seems like forever now.
Yeah.
But they keep getting blocked by the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, plus other regulating boards across the world. And they're having this court battle pretty publicly this week. And so a lot of stuff has come out. A lot of quotes from the Xbox boss Phil Spencer. And so in its proposed filings of fact submitted on the first day of Microsoft's court battle with FTC over the $69 billion acquisition of Activision Blizzard, Microsoft, this is the bombshell right here, Microsoft has claimed Xbox has officially lost the console wars. So for any video game lover out there, you know that there's always been just kind of that console war between it's not so playful sometimes.
Yeah.
We have our PlayStation fanboys, we have our Xbox fanboys, but there's always been that console wars. Which console is the best? And it's going back all the way to it's going all the way back to the PS2 Xbox days. So this is a war that's been going on for 20 plus years now. So a section of the document submitted by Microsoft describes its entry into the gaming industry in 2001 when its original Xbox console was outsold by both Sony and Nintendo by a significant margin. And per Xbox, it hasn't stopped losing the console wars ever since. Aww.
Ouch.
Aww, that's really sad. They've stuck with it, though.
I mean, yeah.
They've been chugging along for 20 years now.
They tried.
They tried. They did really good during the 360 days, but...
I just like the... Wait, wasn't Xbox white before the PlayStation?
The 360... So the first white PlayStation was the PS5. The first white Xbox was the 360.
Yes.
Why does that
matter?
Yeah, why are you asking this?
I was going somewhere with that.
Okay, cool. Let me know when that comes back
Yeah, I
around.
lost it.
So the documents continue on saying Xbox's console has consistently ranked third of 3 behind PlayStation and Nintendo in sales. In 2021, Xbox had a share of 16% of the market, while Nintendo and PlayStation had shares of redacted and redacted, respectively. Likewise, for console revenues and share of consoles currently in use by gamers, also known as install base, Xbox trails by 21%, while PlayStation and Nintendo have shares of redacted and redacted. So
There's just no way that's right.
if you've been looking at sales numbers, it kind of checks out. PlayStation 5 is by far outselling the Xbox, And Nintendo Switch is even further beyond that.
I mean, I'd believe the Switch just because you buy that for everybody. Like, Nintendo's figured out the value of the casual gamer.
Yeah.
But I just don't believe. Like, I believe that they're losing. But to say that they've only had 16%, that's wild.
Just doing some quick searches, so don't quote me on these. So the first thing that comes up. So as of April 2023, the PlayStation 5 has sold 38.5 million units worldwide. And doing another quick search. Oh God.
Can't type.
Oh, he's doing it sideways.
The Xbox
21.
has only sold 21 million units during this console generation. So a good 18 million units less.
So half.
Pretty much, yeah.
I don't know. Some of that math still ain't mathing.
Yeah, but
unless Nintendo has just sold a stupid amount of Switches.
Well, I know that the Switch is like one of the best-selling consoles of all time.
Of all time, yeah.
The Switch has surpassed 125 million units sold.
Wow.
Now, it's worth noting the Switch has been on the market a couple years longer. But, yeah. It's doing pretty hot.
Yeah, that says pretty big numbers.
So it's just kind of sad. You know, I mean, Xbox, you've been, good.
Well, you got to remember, though, in its infancy, though, the Xbox was always going to be the console from the people who made the best games. Like that was the original pitch, because it was a reference to the DirectX chipset that they were using. So the idea was that it was going to be the console from the people who made the games.
Yeah.
And so, for example, and don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure I've read it several times, they have never once sold a console at a profit. They lose money every time they sell a console. But the idea was always that they would make up for it with the games.
The software, yeah.
Yeah.
And the accessories. Yeah.
Correct. Which there's a lot of the electronics industry that works that way.
Yeah, like there's not really an argument that Xbox does not have the more powerful console. They just don't have the library to support it.
See, and that's what I was going to say. So when that's your business plan, that's fine as long as you're making a bunch of good games. This generation, they haven't had any games, good or otherwise.
Last generation, not really either.
Yeah, so I get that they're in hot water, which is why they're very, very, very excited about trying to buy Activision.
Yes.
The maker of Call of Duty. So, well, one of the publishers of Call of Duty. And
the only publisher, but multiple developers.
Correct, yeah. So I get why they would be very, very excited about that. The part that cracks me up about all of this is that the reason that they're saying they can't buy it is essentially because of Call of Duty. Because if they made that exclusive, it could rupture the games industry. But poor little Phil Spencer just keeps saying, I have no intention of making Call of Duty an exclusive. That would be cutting out over 2/3 of their user
from a
base.
business perspective, it makes no sense
It
to make
makes
this.
no sense for us to try to make it, and they just don't believe him.
There have been some reports. I don't think it was Phil Spencer that said it, but with all this court cases and stuff, a lot of people are chiming in. But I believe someone from Microsoft has said that it seems like the people in charge of this court case for the FTC don't really understand the industry of video games.
Well, they don't. And why would they?
Yeah.
Most of the people on the FTC are 50 plus years old. Like, the last game they played, if they ever played a game, was something on the Atari. And it's like, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It's okay. Like, not every hobby is for everybody. But there's a lot of that going around with politics in general right now. Is the world is very, very, very different than when most of these people were last really in it. And I think it's funny, guys. Like, look up some of the readings, because Corey said they've been very public about it this week. Like, not very much of it has been redacted. And it's just the questions that these guys are asking are sometimes hilarious. Yeah. Like, they clearly have no idea how video games work.
And it's so much so, it's like they're claiming that the reason they've blocked it so far is because if they allow Xbox to acquire Activision, which is one of the largest, if not the largest, it's probably not the largest, it's probably like third largest video game publishers.
Yeah.
They would have essentially a domination of the video game market, nearly a monopoly.
Yeah.
But, and like keep using Call of Duty as an example where...
Because it's the most played game on the planet. Yeah.
But their argument is that, they're worried that Microsoft would make Call of Duty an Xbox exclusive. But PlayStation has dozens of console exclusives. So why are they worried about Xbox having some exclusives? That's how it used to work.
It would be the exclusive.
Yeah. But like PlayStation
like you said, PlayStation has dozens of exclusives, but they're all relatively small if you compare it to Call of Duty.
Yeah.
It's not the premise, it's the size.
Okay, that makes more sense.
And so, because I mean, like I said, especially if you include the franchise, just point blank, like every entry in the franchise, it's the most successful franchise of all time. And it's not by a small margin. Everybody buys these games. Casual gamers buy these games. It's not a casual game. You have to practice to be good at it. So, yeah, I know we're good examples. Like, we play it. We're not too great at it, but we play it.
I'm pretty good.
Yeah, Corey's really good, actually. But, like I said, I get their concern, but at the same time, they're just not listening to reason.
Yeah.
If I bought Activision, there's nowhere in hell I would make it an exclusive.
Yeah.
It makes no sense from a business standpoint. You'd be cutting out, by your own documents, you'd be cutting out the vast majority of your consumer base. Because they're not going to buy a whole new console just to play one game.
Mm.
Clearly. Because Xbox keeps trying to get you to buy the console just for one game. And then they keep flubbing it up. So, clearly that doesn't work.
Yeah, that's actually extremely accurate in a very sad way. I bought my Xbox Series X, knowing full well I'd play most of my games on my PlayStation, but I bought the Xbox back before Halo Infinite came out, and it ended up being a pretty meh game.
Yeah, not
and
awful.
Now I've kept it because I want to play Starfield, and we're not quite sure how that one's going to go. So
you should get Starfield on PC.
Well, Josh, it's kind of like your Netflix thing.
Yeah,
like you subscribe to Netflix just to watch a show.
But as soon as that game is done,
I mean, yeah, you can still have the console, but like Corey just said, as soon as another game you feel like you want to play, boom.
Yeah, it's not. Having it doesn't make me want to buy every game for it.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like it's a fallacy of thought. Like it's just not the way it works. Logically, it would seem like that. Oh, you've got the console. Well, you'll buy other games for it. Not really.
Probably not.
I'll buy other games I want for it. And right now, you're struggling to make games I want.
And which is kind of like weird to think about that they're trying to acquire another company with that going on.
Yeah.
It's like if you can't come out with a game that you're relying on your profits on, how are you acquiring something that, takes all this money and time, and then you're going to push that forward with what you're doing already? That doesn't make any sense.
Well, it's the Samsung line of thinking. All right. Samsung made terrible sound bars in the early 2000s. Did they hire a bunch of sound engineers to make a better sound bar? No, they bought JBL. And they started using JBL speakers. And now Samsung has some of the best sound bars on the planet. So Xbox is struggling to make a good game. What's the solution? Buy the studio that makes the best game possible. Or at least the most successful.
More successful.
So,
yeah.
Like, I can see both sides of it. I also think they're overthinking it. Just let them buy it. Make them make a contract that...
Which they already have. They have several in place already. They've already put like a 10-year commitment to bring Call of Duty to PlayStation consoles if they let the acquisition go through.
Yeah.
So,
and I guarantee he'll extend it.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to cancel it for the console that's winning. That makes no sense.
I don't know. So one other story. There's lots of stuff coming out from this court case, but another noteworthy one for us here in the studio is that Phil Spencer, during this court case, has mentioned that Elder Scrolls 6, which is being made by Bethesda, which is a studio that they exclusively own, Elder Scrolls 6 is still 5+ years away.
Why is that news?
Well, it's news because this game was announced years and years ago.
2018.
I love how you know.
They did a trailer for it at E3 2018.
Yes, and they said it would be the next game after they released Starfield. Starfield has been pushed back
I was
few
going to
times.
say, to be fair, Starfield was supposed to come out
At least 2 years ago.
2001,
Yeah, I think 2 years ago.
I think.
Finally coming out this year. But you would have reasonably assumed, okay, maybe 2 years after Starfield, but now it's sounding like 5+ years.
That's amazing.
But I get why they brought this up, though. Because I guarantee one of opposing councils, or the FTC in this case, I assume one of their arguments was, well, you already bought one of the largest game studios on the planet, Bethesda.
Yeah.
And his clapback was, we put out one game from Bethesda like every 6 years. This is not a powerhouse that's cranking out titles every single year that's going to make a crap ton of money.
Yeah.
It makes one huge surge of money every 6 years and then decent amounts for every time we re-release Skyrim.
Yeah.
So, like, I get... Because, yeah, I thought the same thing at first. Like, why is he even talking about Elder Scrolls?
Yeah.
Oh, because that's from their only successful Xbox studio right now.
This kind of goes back to something we said a few episodes ago. I don't know which one, but where Paris Lilly, who has been connected with Microsoft over the years, he was asked when he thinks Elder Scrolls 6 might come out. Now that we have a date for Starfield, and he said I don't think it's going to come out this console generation.
Yeah, which that tracks with this timeline.
Yeah.
Which means this console generation will have no Elder Scrolls.
Yeah.
Period.
Bum, bum, ba-dum.
And Skyrim came out on the 360, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that would be 2 console generations that have had no Skyrim.
Yeah.
Take your time, guys.
All right, that's it for. Actually, no, we'll come back to another video game thing in a second. Let's go hop around to television.
Television.
So, Star Trek Prodigy is not actually getting a second season after all. So, Paramount Plus has canceled the previously confirmed second season of Star Trek Prodigy and plans to remove the animated series from its platform altogether. The streamer also axed of several other series. So, what is going on here?
Pulling the old Netflix.
Pulling the old HBO.
So, Paramount's in a weird spot. Paramount, as we learned on the last investors call, is hemorrhaging money through Paramount Plus. Not quite like on max levels, but it is by no means profitable. And so, because every single studio is convinced they have to have a streaming platform, the only thing you can do to try to even out that cash flow is to cut your original programming. I hate that it's Star Trek Prodigy. I wasn't a big fan of it. Like, it was okay.
It's oriented towards kids. Like,
well, I know, but like even adults, like the fellow we talked to at the convention,
yeah,
was just like, Star Trek Prodigy is probably my favorite Star Trek right now. And so there are a lot of Trekkies who are really big fans of Prodigy. I only made it like 3 episodes in. To me, it had more of a Star Wars vibe than a Trek vibe. Which is, I mean, again, that's not a bad thing, but it's just like, from what I saw so far, if you're hankering for some Star Trek, it isn't the first thing I would watch.
Yeah.
But again, that's my opinion. It's weird to me because I still don't understand how removing content you already have.
I don't.
The only thing I can think of, because Dad and I were actually talking about this the other day, one of the ways to try to increase your cash flow would be to license out some of your properties to other people.
Yes.
Is it being removed so that they can license it to someone else? Maybe like Disney Plus or something like that, which has a huge child market.
Yeah.
That sounds bad. Huge market for children.
What kind of kid do you want today?
So that's the only thing I can think of. But I think there's a few streaming platforms that would do a lot better if instead of trying to fill up their own streaming network, they exclusively made content for other streamers. Paramount being one of them.
Or the opposite, you just become a streamer that buys up the rights to all of the programming that those streamers can't afford to keep on their platform.
Well, that's what Netflix was doing when Netflix was successful. Netflix didn't start getting crappy until their philosophy became to make everything themselves.
Yeah.
Because again, they lost all
we're
the
in full circle here.
Yeah, because they lost all of the comfort watchers.
When's cable coming back?
Right? Yeah. So it's here. We just stream it now.
Yeah.
Your cable bill is the exact same as it was before. It's just it's going to 18 different streaming platforms instead of Xfinity. So I don't know. I see why they're doing it. I always get worried about it because it's the home of Star Trek.
Yeah.
But from a business standpoint, the best thing they could do would be to keep making their shows, don't have a streaming platform, license it out to other people who in turn pay you for all the content you create.
So that makes sense in terms of them removing it, but they've now canceled
Because it's expensive.
a previously announced season for it.
They're hemorrhaging money right now.
Yeah.
And it was a successful show, but it wasn't the most successful. It was well received, but it wasn't the most well received.
Yeah.
It was part of their flagship, but it wasn't the flagship. Because like it's a good time for Star Trek. Paramount's making a lot of money with Star Trek right now.
Yeah.
It's probably their most profitable. Either that or Yellowstone.
As it should be.
Yeah, either that or Yellowstone.
That's on Peacock.
The first season is on Peacock.
Oh, I watched all 5 seasons of Peacock.
Oh, that's weird. It's made by Paramount. It's made and owned by Paramount. And that's one of the things that they've regretted since day one, because when they first licensed that out, it was a limited series. And it went to Peacock because that was before Paramount Plus was a streaming platform. And the way that their contract was written, they can't get it back. So even though they own it and they make it, but that's why all the subsequent series are on Paramount. 1923 and 1883 are on Paramount. So, but like I said, that's actually the way that they will make the most money. Because usually when you license it out to someone else, you get pay for play. The more it's watched, the more they have to give you.
Yeah.
That's how syndication works. So, especially with their hyper successful shows, like Star Trek and Yellowstone, the smartest thing they could do would be to shut down their streamer and license those shows out.
Isn't that where Below Decks is played?
Yeah,
Lower
Paramount.
Decks?
Yeah, every Star Trek is on Paramount.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
Yeah. Yeah. Unless it is currently licensed to someone else. Like the movies come and go because there are contracts with other places that want to be able to show them. But all the TV shows, every episode is on Paramount Plus. You should get Paramount Plus. It's good.
Yeah. And then go get Peacock because it's also very good. I'm realizing. So
Yeah, Peacock's a sleeper, man.
it is. Yeah.
Like it's less than $10 and there's some good stuff on Peacock.
Yeah. All right. Still jumping around. So our next story, this is still kind of a rumor, but it's a pretty heavy rumor that a lot of reliable leakers are reporting on. This is over in the live-action Sony Spider-Man universe area of things. El Muerto.
You're overthinking it.
Muerto.
Yep.
Wow.
My mouth is getting dry. El Muerto.
Nope. Muerto.
Muerto.
Has been delayed indefinitely.
Shocker.
So this was the movie we reported on months ago about a Spider-Man set universe film starring the wrestler.
That doesn't have Spider-Man in it.
That doesn't have Spider-Man in it. This was kind of a weird one alongside the... what was the other one? The Hypno Hustler Spider-Man movie.
I forgot about
Christian
that.
just remembered Hypno.
Yes.
So
I'm upset now.
a bunch of weird Spider-Man universe movies are over there in Sony development. But now we have not heard too much about El Muerto recently. And
Muerto.
now it's sounding like it's maybe indefinitely delayed and maybe
It's
canceled.
dead. It's dead. Thank God.
Maybe canceled.
Well, they still have to figure out what they're doing with Kraven because they let us know they're doing that.
They put out a trailer. It looks pretty mid.
Like, the big thing about Kraven is that
He hunts Spider-Man.
he hunts Spider-Man.
That's the whole thing. That's his whole thing. And they don't have Spider-Man.
And there's hints of spiders in it. And people have theorized, like, within the trailer, like, his reaction to it would probably lead to him encountering Spider-Man. And which that's a whole nother conversation about which Spider-Man are we going to deal with? Is it Andrew Garfield? Because they're teasing about him getting another movie. Or is it going to be Tom Holland? But also, who says he's going to come back?
I just don't think they're going to have Spider-Man in it. I don't have time for this.
Well, not necessarily saying like we need Spider-Man in it.
No,
but
you
like,
do though.
Let's acknowledge Spider-Man.
You do though. You need Spider-Man in these Spider-Man villain movies. Like, holy crap, you need the good guy. Quit trying to make these villains into good guys. That was the moment I was out on Kraven. Kraven is an irredeemable character in the comics.
Oh, yeah.
He is a horrible person. And now he's like an animal rights activist or something like
No,
that.
that's not what. No, but they also changed his origin.
Yeah, they changed everything.
Yeah.
Aside from the fact that he kind of sort of looks like Kraven.
Yeah.
This is...
But now he gets... It's like in the comics, he gets... I don't know why we're talking about Kraven all of a sudden. Why'd you do this to us, Christian?
But you know why.
No, because it's indicative and indicting of the larger problem, which is that Sony needs to just stop. You're not doing a good job.
Because like in the comics, I believe it's a potion.
Yes, he takes a potion to
Correct,
get his abilities.
And then we fall on the trope of blood transfusion.
But like, it's just a tiger that bites him. Like, why does that give him powers?
It's a magic tiger.
Is it
Can't have potions, but we can have the magic
But
tiger.
then again, in the trailer, the tiger lion looked ridiculously huge, so he could have been like genetically
super
modified.
Which is why he's upset and an animal activist. I'm not saying it doesn't make sense. I'm saying it's stupid.
It's stupid.
So I was originally going to...
What's the Glass Onion quote? That's just dumb.
Oh, yeah.
So dumb, it's brilliant. No!
It's just dumb. I was originally going to put the trailer reaction for Kraven in our agenda today, but...
No, you got it. It's
I guess
there.
we got it.
Right.
All right. So that
Done.
movie's coming out. So speaking of Spider-Man, so this doesn't mean too much, but Sony has started reserving some dates, and they have started saying specifically what films they have reserved for specific dates, and they have said they have a live-action Spider-Man film scheduled for June 27th, 2025. And so this could potentially be Tom Holland's Spider-Man 4, but we also know recently we have a Miles Morales live-action film in the works. We have... Why are you giving me that look?
Well, because according to Sony, Kraven is a Spider-Man film. So we may be running with a assumption here. Because 2025 is real close, y'all. That is less than 2 years away. You're going to write during a Writers Guild strike.
Slightly more than
Yikes.
2 years away.
You're going to...
2 years and 3 days.
Yeah. You're going to write this movie, which you can't write movies right now. The Writers Guild strike's going on. Film. Everything they have to do in between that. Hire the actors, hire the director, scouting, all that fun crap. And then these poor visual effects people have to do 3 years worth of visual effects in 6 days. And then get it up. There's no way. This has got to be one of their previously announced Spider-Man villain films.
You know, can I just...
Nope.
Just let me have this.
No, this is a load of crap.
Because we also know that
Sony's a terrible studio.
We know that Tom Holland's been having the meetings about the production of the next movie. So, I mean, this could be his movie.
I'm just saying, even if they had everything ready to go right now and they were ready to start filming next week, 2 year turnaround, that's fast.
Well, I mean, his original trilogy was releasing every 2 years. Homecoming, Far From Home, and No Way Home all released within 2 years of each other.
It's just fast.
Just saying.
It's just fast.
That's how they did it.
And one of them was mid.
Which one?
Middle one was kind of mid.
Back off.
Yeah, like Far From Home was kind of mid. Like it was really like goofy.
Get out.
It was really, like,
It was the weakest of the three.
yeah.
Oh, Homecoming was
Even though I love Jake Gyllenhaal
I do
as
love
an
Jake
actor.
Gyllenhaal.
I thought Far From Home.
Should Jake Gyllenhaal be Batman?
What? We're talking about what?
Should Jake Gyllenhaal be Batman?
Yes. Save that one for a little bit later.
Like, he can get beefed up. We've seen it.
Was it Southpaw?
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude was yoked.
We're going to have a conversation. All right, let's keep this train moving. We're going to cover just a couple more. Let's do one more movie. So, we've known for a while that Henry Cavill has been working on a spy thriller for, I think it's, an Apple original film. So this is going to be an Apple TV Plus thing.
Apple stuff's good.
It
Yeah.
is. But we were starting to kind of worry about this one. So I'll just say Argylle is the movie in question.
Yeah, I remember it was announced.
It was announced a long time ago.
And then you just heard nothing about it ever again. I forgot this was a movie.
Yes. And it's so much so, like, they're Apple's saying this is going to be like the next James Bond level of franchise. And I believe they're already planning 3 additional films. And like, it's based on an original novel. There's actually been some controversy about who the author of that novel was, because she seemingly does not exist. Like, no one can track her down. It's like she's not even a real person. So who actually wrote this book?
Dude, that's how I would do it.
So all that to say,
like, dead serious.
this franchise, this film has just been surrounded in so much secrecy and everything. It's like, is this even a real project? So we finally have a first look at it. It is a Henry Cavill-led spy thriller from Kingsman director Matthew Vaughn, and it's going to be hitting theaters next year.
February 2nd.
Yes. Apple Original Films announced on Twitter that the espionage adventure arrives on the big screen next year before streaming worldwide on Apple TV Plus at a later, as of yet unconfirmed date.
Has Apple released anything in theaters before?
Not to my knowledge, no.
So they must have some level of confidence in it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So the film puts Argylle in a bit of an awkward situation. Suffering from amnesia, he is tricked into believing he is a best-selling spy novelist. However, once his memories and lethal spycraft skills come back to him, he goes down a path of revenge against the shadowy organization he used to work for, known only as the Division. I believe it's supposed to be a comedy as well, if I remember correctly.
So a slightly tongue-in-cheek James Bond?
I believe so.
I can't believe that synopsis just came out of your mouth.
Why?
Because I've been sitting here waiting for the time to say, all right, let's put James Bond down and bring back Jason Bourne. Because that was Jason Bourne. That whole synopsis was Jason Bourne.
I mean, aside from the novel part.
Oh, yeah. So, like, the Wikipedia page for this movie is just all over the place. So, it's based on an yet-to-be-released novel of the same name by first-time author Ellie Conway. So Ellie Conway is the person that they just can't track down, like she doesn't exist. So
because she hasn't put a book out yet.
Yeah, but they're already making a movie based on a book that doesn't exist. The cast is an ensemble cast, obviously featuring Henry Cavill, but also Sam Rockwell, Bryce Dallas Howard, John Cena, Dua Lipa, three other ones: Rob Delaney, Bryan Cranston, Catherine O'Hara, Samuel Jackson.
All right, I'm in.
Yeah,
I'm so in.
Wow.
Let's see the production somewhere in here. Yes, so Vaughn. Who was Vaughn? Matthew Vaughn, the director, has described it as an ode to 1980s action thrillers like Die Hard and Lethal Weapon. When asked about casting Cavill, he said, "I needed someone who was born to play Bond," which Henry is, "and then nick him before Bond did." He plays a larger-than-life action hero with a wink. It's very different from Kingsman, which he directed previously. So,
which were good.
Yeah, I'm totally sold on
Kingsman
this.
movies.
I want to sing this. I want to see this so much.
Yeah, I'm sold. I'm in.
Wow.
Yeah, it's intended to serve as the start of a franchise consisting of at least a trilogy of films. So, there you go. So,
Interesting.
yeah, we finally have proof that this movie is actually a real thing. All right, just a couple more things, and then we're going to wrap this one up. So, you guys like Lord of the Rings over there on that side of the table?
Meh.
Yeah.
Man. So, Embracer Group, a big publisher video game ownership group, has said it needs to be, quote, exploding. Exploiting? Sorry, my eyes are like shutting off. I can't see anything. I need to get glasses. So
we're going to blow this mother up.
Exploiting Lord of the Rings in a very significant fashion by turning it into one of the biggest gaming franchises in the world. The comments come amid a costly restructure of the gargantuan game business, which this morning announced plans to cancel in-development projects, shut studios, and lay off. And that's not happy news. But anyway, so how would you guys feel about having some more Lord of the Rings games? Which we've had very few of.
I was going to say, it's kind of a mixed bag so far. You've had some real bangers, like the, Shadow of Mordor.
Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of
War.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those were both amazing.
Which was funny because like they didn't use the Lord of the Rings name to make those games.
No,
It wasn't Lord of the Rings Shadow of War. It was just Shadow of War. Yeah.
Yeah. Which was good. I enjoyed those games. Those were both very good and actually expanded the lore in a good way. On the flip side, you had Gollum.
Oh, literally one of the worst games of all time.
Which was just trash. It was so trash we didn't even talk about it when it came out.
Literally one of the worst games of all time.
Yeah, and I called that. I called that when they announced it.
You really did.
I said that game is going to be trash. You have a hero who can't do anything.
Other than be creepy.
Yes, that's not a game.
So, amidst the cost-cutting measures that Embracer Group is going through, they're telling everyone that they are focusing on Lord of the Rings games at the expense of other projects.
Smart.
Which is now a priority.
Smart.
They go on to say, I have a high degree of confidence this entire process is going to easily translate into better product selection that's more profitable and gives us a greater opportunity for growth in the future, and that helps us to leverage the IP we own within our organization. We own Lord of the Rings, and we know we need to be exploiting Lord of the Rings in a very significant fashion and turn that into one of the biggest gaming franchises in the world. That's obviously something we're going to be doing.
So stay with me here.
Yep.
Elder Scrolls in the Lord of the Rings universe. Big, dense RPG.
I'm in.
Yeah. And you can play as anyone. You can play as a ranger. You can play as an elf. You can play as a dwarf. You can play as your wizarding class would be the crap. Gandalf, I can't remember the word. The angels, basically, is what they were. But you could even play the bad guys. You could be an orc. You could be an Uruk-hai. You could be... I mean, come on, man. That's role-playing.
I don't want to be an orc.
Facts. So, yeah, I'm for it. As long as you use my idea.
And give me the money for it.
Yep, cut me that check.
All right, let's do one more story. Because it's kind of fascinating. So, we've talked multiple times on this show about how... Disney and Marvel don't actually own the rights to Hulk in live action film.
Correct.
So anytime they use Hulk, it has to be as a secondary character. And we've kind of teased that fact because we kind of know that Captain America 4 is going to feature a lot of characters that we've seen previously in the Incredible Hulk film, all the way back in 2008. And so we've kind of been saying, oh, Captain America 4 is actually just Hulk 2. So, all of that to say, apparently, the deal that Disney had, or whoever had, all these studios had, was that any solo movie rights for Hulk were for 15 years after the release of the Incredible Hulk film back in 2008. Incredible Hulk came out June 13th, 2008, and we have now passed that 15-year mark. So, because of this, the wide belief is that the film rights have now reverted back to Disney. And almost simultaneously, Disney has posted on social media that the Incredible Hulk film is now available on Disney Plus, kind of hinting that the rights have reverted back. So we might actually be seeing some more Incredible Hulk.
Ooh.
But is Mark Ruffalo tired of being the Hulk?
I don't know.
I mean,
he seems to be having fun.
How can you be tired of doing something that you barely do?
Checks out.
That's true. That is true.
He's just the face.
Speaking of Hulks and the new Captain America movie, one of my favorite quotes so far has come out of the press junket from Harrison Ford on that. They asked him if he was going to be turning into the Red Hulk, and he said, "What's a Red Hulk?"
Yes. Now, how much is that him just not caring, and how much is it him just not knowing? Because Harrison Ford's kind of been known for just not caring.
Ford, though. Yeah.
Yeah, when someone pointed out, like, that picture of him and Anthony Mackie talking, you could see his ripped pants when he's sitting there, and I'm like, there it is.
Yep, there it is.
Yeah,
found it.
We know he's going to do it.
Like I said, if you got Harrison Ford to be Thunderbolt and you didn't have him Hulk out, that'd be the biggest missed opportunity in the face of cinema.
Yeah. But yeah. So
that's it.
So yeah, we might actually get another Hulk movie finally.
Yay!
Okay.
Yeah.
We gotta think, like, back before.
I mean, like, it's fine.
Back before the MCU, Hulk was kind of like their big money.
Yeah,
well, it's because people recognized it.
Yeah.
Like that was one of the. You gotta remember, before the MCU, there were no AAA Marvel
there was
heroes.
Spider-Man, X-Men, Hulk.
Yeah, like all of your Avengers. No one knew who that was. I had an Iron Man action figure growing up, and I had no idea who it was. But like I've seen pictures of us playing with that Iron Man action.
Really?
Yes.
I don't recall.
Yeah.
I do not recall.
And that's one thing I was gonna bring back up about DC is that they've been trying. We all noticed they've been trying. They've been trying with their same 5 superheroes for years. And I'll give them
They
that.
have solid characters. They're just not using them correctly.
DC has the better characters.
DC has some baller characters. But they're not going to use them yet until they get their 5 main right. Which is probably not going to be soon.
The dust keeps in.
We'll see.
We will see. Well, on that note, thank you for being on the bummer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
No problem.
Yes.
That's what I'm here for.
Be sure to stay tuned to this show. Jason will be back next week. I'm holding him to it. Also, don't forget, we have more stuff aside from this podcast on our YouTube channel exclusively. youtube.com/@EatSleepNerd. We have next day reaction videos for both Secret Invasion and Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Plus, we also have some more movie stuff coming up. Maybe.
Woo.
I don't know. We might do Mission Impossible. We might do Oppenheimer. We might do Barbie. Who knows?
We're definitely doing Indiana Jones.
Oh, yeah. Indiana Jones.
Indiana
That's like
Jones.
next week. So, yeah. All that stuff coming up soon. So, make sure you guys come back. Usually, Jason's saying something right now, so I don't know how to end this.
Bye.
So, Christian, what are 3 things nerds should be doing this week?
Staying out of the rain.
Okay. But they like close rain.
I mean, it's been rather rainy
Okay.
this week. It's been really muggy.
Torrential. Really.
Drink some water
Yes.
and eat, sleep, nerd.
Take it easy, people.